Let's talk about rebuilds, specifically not the Grizzlies rebuild, because you sent me this list and I was actually really excited to see this. ESPN, I mean, you want to talk about, I'm just glad to see that it's not just us that are in the dog days of summer trying to come up with content. ESPN themselves are doing it. They came up with a rebuild rankings where I guess this is their second version. This is a post draft version, so one that I feel more confident about.
Yeah.
Um, this are an examination. I'm going to quote an explanation of where the 14 teams that missed the playoffs last season stand in their rebuilds, specifically how close each is to championship contention. We talked briefly before the show started. This headphone is killing me. We started briefly before the show started. I think we saw a different list, but both you and I were. I wonder if we saw the first version of this list. I'm going to
We
look it up
might
really quick.
have.
We saw something and we were expecting the Grizzlies to be on here and
Mhm.
we were frustrated.
Mhm.
But once you go through this list and once you actually, I guess, I don't know if they clarified it was the 14 teams that missed the playoffs last year, but you go through this list and it's an interesting list.
Yeah.
The first thing that jumped out to me, and I don't want to hear what jumped out to you first. We might even have the same one. First thing immediately that jumped out to me on this list is how, and we've talked about it, how we might actually need to be worried about the Spurs. I think we've all been, I mean, shoot, they had, what was their over under? It was like 43 wins, 42
Mhm.
wins. I mean, we were
Yeah.
talking about how many wins that is. It looks like the hype train has officially left the station for
Yeah.
this year's Spurs, and this list just solidifies that hype, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, when you add a guy like Dylan Harper to a
Yes.
core with Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Castle, that's like these guys that are already hoopers, and you add a absolute hooper to that team, it's only going to make him better. For me, the team that jumped out the most, like they're higher on the Wizards than I think. They got the Wizards
Yeah.
fifth.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then the Portland Trailblazers, they got them all the way down at 10 out of the 14 teams. And I get it. They didn't make a lot of splashy, sexy moves, but they got Drew Holiday back. They got Dame back for next year. I do really think that Yang Hansen is going to carve out a role in that post for them. He's raw. He's got a lot of upside. There's going to be some learning curve there, right?
Yeah.
But Donovan Klingen's going to be a year better. Scoot Henderson, I think, is going to have a big bounce back season. I'm big on him. I
Any
think that
idea?
this team, yeah, Denny Avdia is great. I think this team is better than they're getting credit for. Plus, they got rid of a locker room cancer in DeAndre Ayton. And sometimes when you get rid of a player like that, who is just doesn't care, who's bringing your team morale and cohesiveness down, I look for Portland to be better. I was shocked that they were 10th. I think that they're going to be the team that overachieves on this list. And I think the Wizards, I know we kind of talked through it the other day with Parrish about how much better, but I just, they're the Wizards. And I don't know that they know how to win. Yes, I like some of the things they've done. I think CJ McCollum's going to be a great vet for them. I am excited to see Ken Whitmore. And you almost talked me into them yesterday. But the more I've thought about it, the more I've looked at it, it's like, man, like, this is still the same old Wizards team. Like they're still going to be in the lottery. They're still going to be bad. Like I don't think that they're ahead of Charlotte, who I think got better.
Mhm.
They're not ahead of the Raptors. They're not ahead of the Trailblazers, contrary to what this list tells you.
Yeah, I thought that was the only. They do have 10 players on rookie scale contracts and 12
Mhm.
guys under 25, so they're young. Maybe that. I mean, I'm with you though. This seemed higher than I would have
Mhm.
put them.
That's bold to
Especially
put them there. Yeah.
especially with some of the other teams under them, like you said. I mean, we like
Mhm.
some of the moves the Hornets made. We like some of the
Mhm.
we like some of the moves we just talked about it. The Blazers made, and then
Mhm.
there's teams above them like the Nets and the Jazz, who we know. I mean,
Jazz aren't trying.
I guess we need to figure out what they mean. They don't clarify in this article. What is a quote unquote rebuild? Because if the Jazz aren't going to be trying this year, does
And
that mean
if
they're rebuilding? I mean, I just don't know. Like
yeah, and if
Dallas,
you read in
Dallas is
there,
two on this list.
yeah. And if you read in there about the Jazz, it says that between the state of the roster and the competitive West, it's going to be an extremely long road for the Jazz. The organization is well positioned to navigate that path, but it doesn't make it any easier. Like they've got a lot of picks they can use. They got a lot of assets and good contracts still in Laurie that they can trade. but you got them 7th ahead of teams like Portland that's trying to rebuild and get better. And I think they did. The Jazz thing is interesting to me. Same with the Wizards. I think the Wizards at 5 is way too high. But it is encouraging as a Memphis Grizzlies fan, as we always tie this back to the Grizzlies, is A, yes, Edward, I hope Laurie is a Grizzly this time next year, but B, the Phoenix Suns are dead last,
Yeah, they
14th on this
are.
list. And hey, Luke, remind me, who owns their first round pick next year?
We do.
Exactly.
Yep, that is if there's a bright spot on this, a bright spot, because you look at this list and you're like, oh crap, we got to play the team that's first on this list. They're in our
And
division.
second.
Yeah, but then you scroll down and you're like, oh wait a minute, Suns and the Pelicans are the last 2 on this list, and one we got to see the Pelicans a lot, and we need Phoenix to be bad so we can get that pick. So I'm here for this.
3 of our division foes are on this list, and the Pelicans, who are like 12th or 13th, but then you got the Spurs first and Dallas second. The Spurs worry me more than Dallas long term because it feels like Dallas has got a very short runway with Kyrie and D'Angelo Russell and Clay and AD being older. And again, like we established yesterday or the day before, AD is the only NBA player ever to play, made entirely of paper mache. So that runway is very short. So they're scary in the short term. Yes, Cooper Flag's going to be great for that team, but what happens when you lose all those contracts from those guys that are older, right? Are you going to be able to rebuild around Cooper for sure? But the Spurs are scared. Like, it feels like this must have been what it felt like. I was a little young. I remember the Spurs getting good before they were really good in the late 90s and early 2000s. This must have been what NBA fans felt. It's like, damn, those Spurs are fixing to pop off. It's like on the like it's in the old, like the Looney Tune cartoons, right? Where the fuse is like burning leading up to the rocket, and we're in that like phase, and it's been a pop off in San Antonio because they have done a masterclass of getting young talent and great players on this team.
Yeah, I really hope they're not the make a leap team this year, because if they make a leap, they might make it really big.
I mean, how could they not be the candidate for a leap this year when you've got Victor coming back as a Shaolin monk who's ready to karate chop everybody and play basketball, right? Then you've got Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year, arguably, got better from last year. De'Aaron Fox is amazing. You draft a guy like Dylan Harper. Like, this team is loaded for bear.